Good morning, students. So this here is the answer key for this passage that you have attempted. So if at any point you find that this video is going too quickly, you need to pause it. Please go ahead and do so. Okay. So for this question, it says refer to the phrase the land grooved with prehistoric cow paths, all the cattle and all the herders who had laid tracks here before. So what does this suggest about the path taken by the nomads? So the fact that it says that it had been grooved with these tracks, it shows that it is a well-trodden path. So this is one acceptable answer. Another suggested answer would be that it is an ancient route. Why is this an ancient route? Because it is grooved and it is grooved with this prehistoric cow paths, right? Because of the herders who were here before. So this shows that this was a route taken by nomads for generations and generations. So some answers that were accepted, that was just slightly above the cut, right? It's because of this word vary, okay? Because this does show a little bit of the magnitude, though it is not the best possible choice. This is still better than answers that did not include this word at all. Okay, so it has to show the magnitude and it has to be precise as well. So please consider the magnitude when you're answering such questions. Okay, this is quite a straightforward question. Pick two separate words for words that had referred to this idea of supernatural beings. So there are only two words that are acceptable. Spectres here refers to ghosts. Okay. Okay. For the question 7, the third question from this paragraph, from the same paragraph, quote two phrases which suggest that the migration has been going on for very long. So this here, you have to make sure that your quotation is precise to show that it has been going on for many years. So since the dawn of time would be one. If you wrote just the dawn of time, it doesn't convey that it has been going on for very long, because this word here is required, since is required. Okay, ageless migration. This here, ageless means that it has been going on for many years. Migration is matching, so this is acceptable. If you had said that stretched on forever, it is ambiguous because it has to include the noun. Okay, so what exactly stretched on forever? So ageless migration that stretched on forever is an acceptable answer. Ageless migration is concise enough to showcase this, so it's also acceptable. But if you had written only that stretch forever or stretch forever, it's not acceptable. Okay, now next thing is across eras. Eras here refers to long period of time, right? So this is also acceptable. So it must convey that the migration has been going on for many years. Okay. Next question. This is a bit more challenging because this here requires you to identify the technique that's been used to emphasize the myriad of emotions. Okay, so by repeating the use of "and" in the phrase, a sound of sorrow and hope and loss and desire, this here does help to emphasize this myriad of emotions. Okay, so one technique to emphasize key information is through the repetition. So it will be helpful if you can identify the words used for a particular purpose. So in this case, to string the different emotions together, the author had chosen to use the word "and." Therefore, this would be the suggested answer. Okay, so this question here asks, how does this phrase, how does this few sentences convey the mood of the nomads? So I've highlighted some words here to showcase the mood of the nomads. So firstly, you can see they whistle, they laugh, they hold their club staffs underhand, while they had said words like this, girl, shh, die, you, but never in anger. Okay, so these here, if you look at it in totality, they're actually quite they're actually in high spirits, they are quite easygoing, they're quite carefree, there's a very playful mood to it. And if you read the rest of the paragraph, you also get a sense that they're actually quite jovial. Okay, so when they're asking you for a suggestion for moods, it has to be an adjective. It has to be a description, and the magnitude must convey the right emotions that are being shared in this paragraph. So peaceful and calm wouldn't be acceptable. Excited would have a more, you can imagine something that's a bit like enthusiasm bubbling in the emotions of the nomad. So that's not quite what we see here. Okay, so these would be a bit more suitable for this context. Okay, so this question, most students have gotten this right. They are asked to quote two consecutive words from the paragraph that suggest that there was continuous jesting. Okay, so endless jokes made to each other and so on. This was okay. Okay, this question was a little bit more challenging for some students. So they moved along the bootleg music that raps from the cell phones they dangled on lanyards from their necks. So this question asks what suggests that the music being played is a person. Okay, so how do I identify this word? So if the question is asking you about a non-living thing, you try to identify it first. Okay, and they're asking you how this non-living thing is behaving like a human, means that they want to look for descriptions that actually show personification. You know, personification means that you are attributing human qualities to non-living things. Okay, so you have to look out for verbs that are usually reserved for humans. And this here refers to the voice of a human being. Okay, how the voice of a human being actually sound like. So in this case, this would be the most suitable word. Okay, bootleg here means that it's illegal, and neck definitely is not. Okay, let's go on. This next part of the question, what does this bootleg music, what is the quality of the music? Sorry, let me repeat that. What is the quality of the music played from the cell phones? The fact that it had rust. So this here shows that the music is quite poor quality. So imagine someone with very, very bad sore throat trying to speak. Yeah, so that's the kind of quality of the music, something that is very unclear, something that is very muffled. Yeah, so that would be the quality of the music. Okay, this is a language use question and it can be more challenging to a lot of students here. So firstly, this question says that the writer had chosen to repeat this phrase, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, in the same beat. So if you're repeating this in the same beat and the fact that he had put this here, he's basically trying to replicate this beat. He's trying to show you that this beat is being replicated. So the main takeaway is that because it has already been stated in the question that is a repetition, you cannot state in your answer again that it's meant to repeat the phrase. Okay, so you have to explain the purpose of it, and the reason why he wants to emphasize this repetition again and again is because it's trying to show the reader and to make the reader feel the repetition of the music. Okay, let's go on. This question, most students are able to identify the points. However, the only issue is that the question requires you to state only two ways. There are four possible ways in which the nomads have used to identify their cows. So if there's a possibility of multiple answers, you have to check to make sure that there are only two methods that were provided. And for some of the students, you are not very clear in the way that you have stated it because it's a literal question. And some of you have chosen to omit some key details or you have paraphrased it. So you can't get the full marks for such a question. So this kind of question is supposed to be quite straightforward. So you really have to be very careful and check through again to make sure that you don't make any careless mistakes and that will help you to avoid any penalties. Right. Question 14 here it says that the sun had leapt upwards red beyond the sparse scrublands, then at the low umbrella crowns of the uh, trees. I can't really pronounce this word, sorry, I should have removed this two as well. So it stopped glaring in the fierce African sky. So these two words here that suggest the sun is a person. Similarly, if you are trying to look out for personification, you look out for verbs that are usually done by humans. And because this is a 1 mark question, you have to get both right in order for you to get 1 mark. Okay, so why does the writer describe the sun in this manner? You have to explain both the reasons for leapt and glaring. Okay, so I've written this in black just to show you that this part of the answer is explaining why the word leapt is used, and then this part of the answer is to explain why the word glaring is used. Okay, so your explanation must convey the magnitude of the word chosen. Okay, so you can't just so the word leapt, for example, you have to show that it's a very sudden manner. Okay, it is something that caught people by surprise. The speed must be there because this word leapt here is very different from for example, if I use the word rise. Okay, so the speed is very different. The magnitude must be conveyed. And then for this word glaring, you cannot just say that, oh, it's very hot or it's very bright. You must show the magnitude as well, that is very harsh. Okay, so the sunlight is actually very, very intense. Okay, for the last question, this is it. The structure here reflects the main stages. You can have a look at the 4 suggested answers, and you can see why these are more suitable for the paragraphs. Okay, if you have more questions, you are free to ask me. Please do your corrections and upload it on Google Classroom when you are done. Thank you.